Video games are an interesting medium. Much like movies, we've come a long way in such a short amount of time. The industry has grown by leaps and bounds, from a simple form of entertainment to a medium in which someone can tell a story that can really affect the audience. There are certain cliches and tropes that haven't changed, and many of the old attributes of game design still ring true to this day. As many of you surely are familiar with, one such adage is the boss battle. However, some people are beginning to question the validity of the boss battles, and I think that's an interesting subject. Are boss battles really necessary for game design? Well, why don't we try and answer that question? I'd like to make it clear as always that these are my opinions, and I'll do my best to support them. If you have your own, share them in the comments below. I would love to hear them. I think the most important first step we have to take is defining the boss battle. A boss battle in its nature is a part of a level or section in a game that is specifically designed to test the culmination of your skills. Take for example Bowser in Super Mario Bros. You finally reach his section of the level, and you're given two ways of taking him out. You can either jump over him and hit the switch, which in a sense is the game testing your patience and ability to judge the path of your jump arc and momentum. Or you can pelt him with fireballs, which is more of a way of rewarding you for having the ability to carry that item through the level. It's a great way to show the player that they in fact have learned and are rewarded with that satisfaction. Now, on the other hand, take for example the ending of Halo. If you're unfamiliar, during the final level of Halo Combat Evolved, your mission consists of two main parts: hitting 4 vents to blow up the ship on your own, and escaping the level via the Warthog. The first part is somewhat of a test of your shooting or grenade throwing ability, albeit not a very good one, in my opinion of course. And the second part is your escape on the Warthog, which is a genuine test of your ability to handle the vehicle. When you get to the end, you have to run down a small section of the bridge riddled with enemies to escape on the Pelican. Is this a boss battle? Well, not in the normal connotation of the phrase. However, I would argue that we could call this a boss scenario, an exciting moment of the game that does in fact push some of your abilities to the test not normally presented in the game. I personally don't think it's a very great boss encounter, but it's a good example. We could argue the merits of how good the scene really is, but perhaps that's another subject for another video. Now then, since we've defined the two as being ultimately the same thing under different circumstances, I think we have a good understanding of the value of the idea, the boss scenario, a testing of your skills in the game. It's something that allows the player to truly test their skills. Then, upon completion, sit back and revel in the fact that they've come so far. Hell yeah, I'm awesome. Look how good I've gotten at this game. Truly I am a champion. Boss battles aren't necessary for game design. Of course,
Guys, can we stop? Guys, come on, stop! Guys!
Let's try and be civil here. We're trying to have a civil discussion here and get some answers. Let's act like humans, not animals. He started it. Anyway, some would argue that boss battles aren't necessary in games. Well, based on my previous argument, I'd like to think that maybe they actually are correct. It's not necessary for games to have boss fights, but what good does removing them add? You lose that sense of accomplishment, as if the game is spoon-feeding you rewards for doing nothing. No test of your skill, no climactic moment that makes you feel like you're a part of it, nothing. It just holds your hand and takes you on a tour. How boring is that? How cheap is that? But I will say this. There are good games out there that don't actually have boss fights. However, many of these games don't revolve around learning skills, but instead are based on the idea of telling a story, and just that. Telltale games aren't really about teaching the player how to react, but merely for pressing buttons to enact on the player's decisions. Which, when you think about it, that's all video games are.
Explosion.
But that's another video for another day. Dr. Langskov, another game built around a story. It doesn't have any boss fights because it just exists to tell a story. Stanley Parable, Gone Home, the list goes on. Here's where I'd like to draw the figurative line. Now I mean this in no disrespect to the creators, as I've played most of these games and I actually enjoy them, but I don't really call these video games. I'd like to think of them as interactive experiences. They aren't designed with the same intentions as most games. What is that intention? Well, think about it like this. It's similar to the difference between playing baseball and watching The Rookie. You play the game to get better, and if you and your friends learn a thing or two along the way, then that's cool. You watch The Rookie to enjoy the story, which I did not, but I was like 10, so yeah. Nothing wrong with either of them, but there are different intentions behind the two. It's not the best comparison in the world, but I'm sure you get what I'm saying here. They're both built around the game. So let's return to the initial question. Are boss battles necessary for game design? Yes, if your game is about gaining skills and getting better at playing something. If your game doesn't have a boss fight, then it's missing a central part of its design that can really hinder the attention of the player. Why would they play a game if there's no reason to get any better? What's the point of playing the game?
But Grenademanblitz, baseball doesn't have a boss fight.
I thought we went over this. To reiterate, it's a situation or scenario that tests the skill of the player. Going to the batting cages is your tutorial level. Playing against another team is your standard level. Playing in a championship is your boss battle, because at that point you can truly test your skills and get a reward for it.
But Grenademanblitz, I never got to play in any sort of championship.
Well, ask yourself this. Why not? Was your team not that great? Then you all should have gotten better. Was it because you were playing casually? Well, that's fine. You don't care about getting that far in the game. Imagine you're just a 2-year-old kid running through Emerald Hill Zone, just running around and having fun. You don't even fucking care about getting to the boss. You're just having a blast playing a game. Well, that's what most people experience playing baseball recreationally or casually. It's just a level. It's just practice. But if you want to get better and go farther, you have to push yourself. And that's what video games are all about. Getting better at the game and pushing yourself. And eventually you do face Dr. Robotnik, and you're like, fuck you! And jump on his stupid-ass face 8 times, and you're like, yeah! Best level in the game! I think at the end of the day, the answer comes out like this. Games that are designed to test the skill of the player need some sort of boss scenario to justify themselves testing the player. Games that are built around just telling a story don't. And why would they? There's no point. But this isn't a bad thing. It's just an expansion of the medium, and I welcome it. It's nice to see some diversity in the gaming market. I myself attribute my taste in games to more of the classical, but that doesn't make me any worse or any better than someone who only plays games that are built around the story.
It just makes me better at games.
Oh! Sarcastically, Alex said. I'm sorry, I knew I had to say it, but I digress. Video games, interactive experiences, they're all built for entertainment. And sometimes you kind of need to be reminded of that. Whether or not you play for the betterment of your skill or just to experience a story, it's all about entertainment. Just like these videos. Do you watch them to better your depth of perception on the medium? Or do you just like the sound of my voice? Either one is fine. But don't tell somebody that their reason is less valid than yours. Unless they say they don't like my voice. In which case, tell them to promptly fuck off. I'll get a better microphone. I'm very sorry. I have very few monies. This has been another Personal Perspectives in Gaming. Thank you for watching. Hey, whoa, what are you doing here? You're watching my end card? Well, that's pretty cool of you. If you enjoyed this video, then perhaps go ahead and click on that subscribe button. I try and put out at least one new video per week, sometimes more if I've got the time. One day, if I can just make YouTube videos for a living, there will be many more videos per week. So if you subscribe, that would definitely get me closer to that goal. You know what also helps? Hitting that there like button. It lets me know what kind of content y'all enjoy. And sharing videos? Damn, dude, that exposure is awesome. But if you've already done all that, then click here to watch my video on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Will it be good? Well, I think so. But there are some variables to consider, so let's discuss that. Do you want to watch me do a Let's Play? Then here's me and my good buddies playing League of Legends. Want to follow me on social media? There's my Twitter handle, and the link to Professor Toast Gaming's Facebook page where I am an admin. Follow me to stay updated on the channel. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, video games are the best video games. Later.